Morocco has a surprisingly extensive railway network, featuring mostly French technology, with services spanning across most of its major cities using a variety of rolling stock, with everything from high-speed TGV trains, overnight sleeper trains, commuter trains, and to what we will be traveling on today, the backbone of the long-distance fleet, these classic local-haul trains. So join me on a trip from Casablanca to Rabat, where we check out the onboard offering and the not-so-safe door-locking mechanisms on board these trains. Our journey today begins from the both modern and historic Casa Voyageurs railway station. This is one of a few stations serving the city of Casablanca, with this one being the main hub for long-distance services in the country. The original station building here dates back to the station's opening in 1923. But back in 2018, with the opening of the new Al Borak high-speed train service, a modern facility was added directly adjacent to the old station building. The station was also connected to the modern Casablanca tramways network in 2012 with the opening of tramline number 1. So, let's sit inside and find our train. At the time of filming, the station was decorated with a few stickers celebrating the 5th year of the Al Borak train opening. Morocco really seems to be proud of its high-speed railway, and for good reason. I'll be having a video coming out on that in the future, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you don't want to miss that. As we enter the station, we already find some shops. But the main part of the station is elevated above the tracks, so let's head upstairs. Here you'll find a great selection of stores, including Western outlets like Starbucks. And Morocco has an escaped McDonald's either. The station also features a pleasant outdoor terrace. And if you're just starting your Morocco trip, there's also plenty of ATMs here. The station also has an Al Borak lounge, but this is only accessible with a first-class ticket for the Al Borak train. The station is a comfortable and cool place, with modern amenities, plenty of seating, and in general is a great addition to the Moroccan railway network. They really did a great thing here with the opening of the high-speed railway. Consulting the departure board, we can see that our 1330 service bound for Fez will be departing track number 7. Boarding trains in Morocco is through a gate with ticket checks. But you can also just walk through these doors onto the terrace. And tada! Much more calm stairs down to the platform. While waiting for our train to depart, I managed to catch one of the local trains going to the Casablanca airport railway station. As well as another local train departing for the Casa port railway station. And I also caught a view of the Al Borak high-speed train, but more on that in a future video. But enough about other trains. Here's our Alstom Prima locomotive in Morocco known as the E1400 series arriving in from Marrakesh. While technically capable of speeds of up to 200 km per hour, they don't reach speeds above 160 in service. Our train today is hauling a variation of first class and second class carriages. The train is only scheduled to stop here for 3 minutes, so it's about time we head on board. Every ticket comes with a seat reservation, and I have bought mine online in advance on the ONCF website. As the train was really busy and a lot of people got on here in Casablanca, it took a while to get to my seat. First class today features compartments, and I got lucky and got seat 11. But there's no way to choose your seat on ONCF, so you just have to play the roulette game. On another train journey from Fez to Meknes, I had an open plan carriage in first class, but there seems to be no way to tell which trains has which, so it's always gonna be a gamble. Our train starts departing from Casablanca a few minutes behind schedule at 13:36. From here, it's a slow crawl out of the modern station. And as we make our way north out of Casablanca towards Rabat, let's take a closer look at the route map for today's journey. We are on board train number 6004, which has arrived into Casablanca from Marrakesh, and after a brief stop here, we continue stopping at Ain Seba, Mohamadia, Rabat Agdal and Rabat Ville, my final destination. This is a distance of 88 kilometers covered in 54 minutes, giving the train an average speed of 98 kilometers per hour. After Rabat, the train continues to Fez. And soon enough, after leaving Casablanca, we pick up quite the speed. But it doesn't last very long, as Ain Seba is only a few minutes away from Casablanca. The stop here is very brief, and soon enough, we are on the move again. Ultimately winning the race against the train on the adjacent platform, making all station stops towards Rabat. And as you might have noticed from the previous shot, the doors on these trains are unpowered and don't lock, so you can just push them open like this even when the train is moving. Which probably isn't great for safety, but it does allow for some cool videos. But if you don't fancy sticking your camera out the side of it all, then you can also just stand at the back of the train, where there's some pretty good views as well. It's also a great place to start our tour of the train. The rear of the train is made up of first-class carriages, which today is laid out in the compartment layout. Each compartment features 6 seats. Unfortunately, all of them were pretty full today, so I can't give you a proper tour of one right now. But what I can give you a tour of is the toilet found at each end of the carriage. So let's check this out. The door is kinda broken, but if you push it a bit, then eventually you can manage to actually lock it. The toilet itself could be worse, but it's fairly old and it just dumps straight onto the track. Toilet paper was provided, but there was no more hand towels. The water was also working, so I mean it's functional, but it has definitely seen better days. Continuing on, we get to second class. If you can actually manage to pull the doors apart, which was quite tough, especially just with one hand. I wonder what would happen if I turned some of these buttons. Second class comes in these busy 8-person compartments that feel really cramped. So if possible, and if you have the spare money, I would really recommend upgrading to first class. You can also sometimes find non-compartment seating in second class, but as ONCF runs their railway like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. And as I completed my walk around, we were arriving into our next station stop, Mohamadia. Which was actually pretty convenient for me, as it allowed me to disembark the train and go towards the other end without having to pass through all the narrow aisles. And with the passenger exchange now complete, we can move onwards towards Rabat. And before we arrive, let's have a closer look at the seat in first class. The seat itself is very comfortable and plush, and has great ergonomics. This is basically like an armchair at home. By the window seats you'll also find 2 coat hooks, as well as a reading light. And the window seats also get a table, which can be extended. However, there's no Wi-Fi or power outlets. Above every seat, there's a good amount of space for luggage storage. Our train is speeding along towards Rabat, and it's only a matter of minutes before we arrive into Rabat Agdal. While located quite a bit from the city center, the station here serves a wealthy neighborhood of the Moroccan capital and was rebuilt in 2018 to, you guessed it, make space for the Al Borak high-speed train service. but as we are traveling on one of the Al Atlas services, they still serve Rabat's other railway station, located much closer to the city center, where we'll arrive in just a few moments. So before we arrive, let's talk tickets. Tickets between Casablanca and Rabat can easily be bought online or at the station for a flat price of 70 dirham or about 6.5 euros for a seat in first class. If bought online, you simply show your PDF on your mobile device. However, not all long-distance trains in Morocco has fixed price, and for longer journeys, the earlier you book in advance, the cheaper the ticket. And as we make our way out of the tunnel, we are now in the trench that is home to Rabat Ville Station, and it's time to prepare to get off the train. In the end, we approached Rabat Ville Station at 14:37, running 13 minutes behind schedule, after what was a comfortable and pretty uneventful journey. The train is a great way to get around Morocco, and despite not being the best trains in the world, it beats bumping around on a bus any day. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, as I try to upload a new one every Sunday. You can also follow me over on Twitter at IntercitySimon. I usually post live from my travels over there, so it's a great place to get a sneak peek at what videos might be coming to the channel in the future. Thanks for watching.